Gaming keyboards are a very subjective thing. After all, it's basically your weapon of choice when you head into an online battle arena. You need to feel as comfortable as possible with the gear you choose to play your best games. Now, QPad are touting their new MK-75 gaming keyboard as a pro gaming keyboard, but does it hold its weight in what seems like an ocean of choices? The QPad MK-75 is a full QWERTY gaming keyboard that has a full number pad on the right hand side and lights up with RGB goodness. It's built like an absolute tank, and I must say it's one of the heaviest modern gaming keyboards that I think I've tested so far. It weighs in at a whopping 1.26 kilograms, and yes, I know gaming keyboards aren't exactly meant to be carried around with you, but its weight is pretty unique. Now, the weight comes down to a metal deck plate that spans the face of the actual keyboard itself, and that results in very little flex, something that gaming keyboards are susceptible to, even in its raised position. The build quality is absolutely fantastic here, and it definitely feels like a keyboard that's going to last you a decent amount of time. There are two pegs on the underside of the keyboard that angles it down to what I would call a more comfortable position to use. If there's one thing that I'm not too keen on, and that's the amount of effort that each key needs to be pressed. The MK-75 uses Cherry MX brown switches, which I think is a little odd, and it's not mentioned on the box website or documentation that these things are brown keys or brown switches. There also isn't an option on which switch you get either. Gamers generally prefer blues or reds due to their lighter nature, and even with touch typing, I felt like I had to get myself used to the actuation points of these keys and actually press down on them rather than a light stroke of each keycap. This is my experience though, and yours may differ. It's a nice typing experience, I can't complain. I must say though, I do like the fact that the clickiness of blues is gone, and that does get on my nerves after a while. The clickiness of blue keys is just not for me, especially if you're a typist or you're writing stories and reviews. It's just a nightmare. The keycaps are laser etched too, so they can begin to wear out after a long period of time. Now, unfortunately I couldn't test this because we only had the keyboard on my gaming rig for a couple of weeks. There is an included wrist rest which is extremely padded and is actually pretty comfortable to use. However, it doesn't connect to the keyboard itself. It's actually loose, so it does give you the opportunity to move it to a comfortable position, but it isn't great if you want to store the keyboard away. A couple of magnets on either side would be sufficient enough, I think, to hold it, but that's just me. Depending on where you stand, depends on how you take this next point. Functionality of this keyboard is pretty much non-existent, bar the usual media keys you get across the top. It is not software controlled, and the only functionality you really get here are the various RGB modes. These work by holding down the FN key and clicking your F4 key to cycle through the patterns, F3 to cycle through the colours on particular patterns, and F1 and F2 keys for brightness. There is an individual LED though under each key, which means you get a decent brightness from the patterns, and there's no way of setting up macros on the keyboard either, which is something that veteran MMO or MOBA players might be disappointed at. The Windows key can be locked though for when you are inside of games. Just FN the Windows key and you'll never be disturbed by accidentally clicking the Windows key when you're actually meant to click Control for crouch. When playing games though, I came up against really little issues with this keyboard. I mean, I play a lot of Valorant and a lot of Call of Duty Warzone on my PC, and they don't exactly require mashing the keys. I did find, however, that this keyboard was very accurate with my clicks, and I rarely found myself misclicking or even noticing double clicks on certain keys. There is some anti-ghosting tech built into the keyboard which does help with this, and with the included wrist rest, I never really felt fatigued. One of the biggest caveats to the QPad MK-75 gaming keyboard is the fact that QPad themselves are still selling it for €149 or £135 here in the UK, which is incredibly expensive compared to the functionality the keyboard provides. There are much cheaper options on the market right now that offers the same as this and more. The QPad MK-75 gaming keyboard is a lovely product though, I can't complain. It's built extremely well, has some decent brightness to its RGB. The USB cable is braided, which means no snagging on the back of my desk if you move it around, and it's nice to type on. But its biggest downfall is the lack of software control, and considering its price, it's just too expensive. So thank you very much for checking out my video review of the QPad MK-75 gaming keyboard. If you enjoyed this review, then do click that like button. Please subscribe to keep up with our latest tech and gaming videos, and let us know in the comments down below what you think about this keyboard. If you would go for the QPad MK-75 or you would go for something else, let us know down in the comments below. As I said, thanks very much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.